Tonight on Dynamite, we had Darby Allin once again defend the AEW Men's World Championship, this time against Konosuke Takeshita. Plus, he gets MJF to try to sign the contract for the hair versus title match at All In. And we get a big return, literally big, for the TNT Open Challenge by Kevin Knight. Let's get after it.
Uh-oh.
Yes, boy!
French toast is the exchange student that you have like a 3-week affair with.
We can see that you don't have pants on.
Somebody hit somebody with a pie. Do something.
Giovanni yelling we're out of time as we go off the air.
Giovanni yelling a lot of things tonight.
And welcome to the Mark It Down podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Mark It Down podcast. My name is Nick Cummings, joined this week again by James Giasanti.
I missed you.
Missed you too, buddy. Back here once again to review another episode of AEW Dynamite. Thankfully, this one was only 2 hours, or at least scheduled for such. So a little less to review than last week, but it was still very densely packed. So let us jump right into our main event of the evening, which saw Darby Allin once again defending his AEW Men's World Championship against Konosuke Takeshita. Now, Takeshita was a fill-in, actually, because this was supposed to be Okada, but apparently Okada had some sort of personal issue over back in Japan. They haven't said what it is, so hopefully whatever is going on with him, everything is okay with him and his family. But Takeshita was then chosen, handpicked by Don to replace Okada, and that's how we ended up with this banger of a match. And a banger it was, because immediately, within like 2 minutes, Darby was bleeding from his mouth.
And that was like the hard way. That was the legit, he was busted in the mouth.
Very close to a phrasing there. They were talking on commentary. They wasn't sure if it was his mouth or following his match on Saturday at Fairway to Hell, where he got thrown off the balcony through 4 tables. Maybe it was some internal bleeding and he was spitting out blood. Side note, go watch that match against Pac. It was a lot of fun. But either way, this was something that persisted throughout the match. Also early in the match, Takeshita missed a power drive knee and drove his knee straight into the steps as he was trying to drive Darby into them. Something I wrote down and thought was going to come back to hurt him more. Didn't really end up doing so, but okay. Still a good note, because honestly, I should have deleted it after a minute later. Takeshita caught Darby trying to do a coffin drop on the apron and then just blew thunderbombed him from the apron to the floor.
That was disgusting. If I never have to watch that again, please, I'm good.
I feel like a lot of people have been saying that a lot about what Darby's been doing these past however many weeks. Let's see. Another nasty bump was Takeshita hitting an avalanche German suplex and somehow not only hanging on, but bridging up into a pinfall, which I don't think I've ever seen. And Darby was able to kick out of that.
Commentary said the same thing. They were like, I don't think I've ever seen that.
Takeshita then hit a power drive knee, but Darby kicked again. And it was at this point that old clone came down to the ring to distract the referee. And the carny piece of shit, Don Callis, who was on commentary, got up and ran over to Takeshita and tried to hand him the Dynamite Diamond ring. Now, we'll go over what was said in that earlier segment later, but just know that MJF gave Don the Dynamite Diamond ring because he was freaking out about this whole hair thing, and he figured the only surefire way to not have it happen was for Takeshita to win. So Don goes over to Takeshita, hands him the ring. Takeshita briefly kind of puts it on and then rips it off and throws it away, deciding not to use it. Instead, he got rolled up, but he was able to kick out. The two then fought over into the corner and then ended up on the top rope, where Darby hit an Avalanche Code Red and then used the Last Supper pinfall combination, but Takeshita was able to kick out of that. And then Darby hit a coffin drop to the outside after Takeshita rolled out of the ring. And then I finally got a breather. That, like, literally from the Avalanche German all the way to there was like a 2-minute thing.
Yeah, nonstop action. Total nonstop action.
It's a different bit, but the pace of this match was insane, especially from there. Eventually, we have Takeshita break the count, and he brings Darby over to those same steel steps, which, for the record, had been moved away from the ring post. Darby was able to counter that and reverse it and hit a scorpion death drop on the stairs. And then Darby climbed to the top rope and hit a coffin drop to the floor, rolled Takeshita into the ring, but Takeshita was able to kick out of that. Darby then went up top for another coffin drop. Takeshita got his knees up and then got in a crucifix pin, but Darby kicks.
Really happy about that. Really happy about that. Yeah.
You got nervous, huh?
Yep.
Takeshita again hit the power drive knee, and he got Darby up for a power bomb, but Darby reversed that into a scorpion death lock. Takeshita was then able to force the break, but Darby immediately climbed to the top, hit a coffin drop, literally as Takeshita is still hanging onto the ropes, and then follows that in quick succession with a second coffin drop, and then he pinned Takeshita to retain the AEW Men's World Champion. As I said, James, fast-paced, high-paced, physical banger. I expected nothing less.
Yep.
This might have been my favorite one so far of the Darby Open Challenge.
That's bold.
It might be biased because it's Takeshita, because that Ciampa one was really fucking good.
Yeah, the Ciampa one was great. I mean, did you watch the Pac one or no?
Yes, I did.
Right, that one was fun
Awesome
too.
That one was fun. This one was a banger.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think so. I'm really afraid of what I'm about to say because you and I have been defending and shielding Darby from all of the hate about people who didn't want him to win the title, haven't really been enjoying the title reign, all those things. So I'm trying to be very, very careful with what I say. But I am having a slight issue, and I've noticed this in all of the title matches. There are things that Darby absolutely would not have kicked out prior to this title reign. There are things that that would have put Darby down if he didn't have the plot armor of I need to face MJF at Double or Nothing. Like I'm willing. Like let's be honest here. I think it's okay that he kicked out of the first knee from Takeshita. The second one.
Now, granted, he didn't kick out of the second one. Takeshita immediately went for a power bomb.
You're right.
But Darby did, let's say, recover very quickly.
Yes. Thank you. I think that's a fair way of putting it. I'm enjoying these matches a lot. But it sort of feels like Darby just hit a hidden power-up somewhere that he didn't have prior to winning the title. And it's cool. Like, I'm enjoying these matches in a vacuum. This was a fun matchup. This was a really, really fun matchup. But do you really think they were going to tease us with Darby versus MJF in a title versus hair match? And that might not happen because Takeshita could beat him. Like, that's, I think, my only slight issue with everything so far. But again, in a vacuum, these matches are great. I'm having a hugely, I don't even know why I said huge, amount of fun watching these matches. So I don't want to be too much of a nitpicker. Again, that blue thunder bomb from the apron to the floor, disgusting. Don't do that again, please. Not without a table there.
Honestly, I don't even think that's the worst spot Darby has taken in this title reign, but
I know, no, you're absolutely right, but it hurt my insides.
Everything Darby does hurts my insides.
Yeah.
He's going to kill himself on one of those topes announce table side.
Yeah.
Because he hit Takeshita one today, and Takeshita caught him, but Darby's momentum just kept him going, and he just went fucking back first into the table.
I got to ask you, and I need your honest thoughts on this. Is Takeshita simply Japanese Sami Zayn?
So obviously he is very influenced by one. Well, he's not influenced by Sammy. He's influenced by El Generico.
That guy. All right, I would be influenced by El Generico.
Yeah, especially with him being in DDT for a very long time.
Yeah,
And I know Generico did a lot of stuff over there. Shout out to that wacko match against Ibushi.
Yeah.
But I'm
Blue
trying to.
Thunder Bomb,
Yeah.
Hoover kick,
Yep.
brain buster.
Yeah, no, he is a Generico guy through and through. And you could also see that a lot with Fletcher as well.
Yeah.
And I know Fletcher doesn't use as many moves as Takeshita does, but there's a lot of Generico in Fletcher too.
Oh,
which
yeah,
it
for
works
sure.
because they're tight.
Are they? I didn't know. But yeah, no, I love this match. I thought this was another great title defense for Darby. It seems we're gonna have one more before the pay-per-view next week.
Who knows? It could be 3 more the way he's running right now.
Yeah, the rate he's going. So yeah, not much more to say. Really, really fun main event. I do feel, and you kind of touched on this too, I do feel that almost all of his defenses have felt unique, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
Like the Ciampa match and this match might be the closest in like DNA, but there's still a huge difference. Like Ciampa is way more Darby's size as opposed to Takeshita, who is towering over him. Kevin Knight was just a high-flying, back and forth. Pac was a train wreck in the best way possible. Like I say that as a compliment. But so they've all really felt unique. They've all really felt special in their own way. And I think, I'm going to be real with you, I think there is a good chance Darby might actually lose at the pay-per-view. I don't think it's as set in stone as everyone says. And if he does drop the title back to Max at the pay-per-view, it's still a very memorable reign.
Oh, yeah, it absolutely will be. I mean, let's assume he just has the one more title defense next week. That's what, 6?
Yep.
In under 30 days? That's pretty crazy. Like MJF probably had 6 in the 200 days, So I agree with you. We'll get to that in a second. I agree with you. I think this has been a great title reign. I'm really enjoying it.
I'm trying. I was trying to help you.
I'm really enjoying it. I'm loving seeing Darby go out there and, proving a lot of people wrong that he's, just a stunt guy, that he actually can go out there and wrestle. Now, I think that's something you and I knew, but I think a lot of people either didn't want to see it or had never seen it before.
Yeah.
And now we're going out there and watching Darby seriously put on clinics and different styles of clinics as well, which has been great to see.
Do you feel one last thing about this?
Okay.
Do you feel that Darby has solidified himself as a main eventer now?
I think he has always been capable of main eventing. So at least the last few years, and this has just proven that he has been able to do so. Okay. He's just never been in main event spots because he doesn't have to be, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like he was with Sting for a really long time. And that in and of itself is a borderline main event spot, running with that dude. Yeah. And now he's back on his own. He's had to find ways to stay in prominent positions. But even then, he has always been in a prominent position. And I think if you are trusted to be one of those guys who's always at or near the top of the card, even if you're not going for the title, it's very easy to insert you into the title picture. Okay. Now let's go to some comments. I just want to briefly say hello to Fernando. What's up, dude? He's been here since before the start of the show, so I wanted to get to him first. And then we go back to Grant. Apologies, dude. We're doing this on the fly here. Let's say, hey, guys, I'm attending Dynamite next week. Congratulations to you. What are the chances it ends up being a good card? I see they announced tonight it'll be a special 3-hour live Dynamite Collision taping, probably because of the pay-per-view. Yeah. I think it's already going to be pretty solid. It looks like you might be getting Speedball versus Darby for the championship, so that'll be a very fun main event. I'm trying to remember what else they announced.
I'm struggling too.
Briscoe Ciampa is something else they announced as well for next week. So I could probably run through the socials and go look really quick, but I would imagine it's a pretty decent card. I know a lot of the times we end up saying that it's the Dynamite before the pay-per-view that's the best one. But last few, or the two Dynamites before the pay-per-view, that's the best one, which would be tonight's Dynamite. But recently, I think Tony has stepped it up a bit more
on the Go Home show.
Yeah, on the Go Home show on Dynamite. So I think you're in for a real treat, man. Either way, Dynamite's always awesome live, and Collision when they do the 3 hours is usually very good too. So you're gonna have a lot of fun there, no doubt about it.
The only thing I'll say is the flow of your night might feel a little off, because absolutely the main event of Dynamite is going to feel like the main event of the night. We've talked about this in the past, that sometimes the collisions that follow sometimes just feel like not an afterthought, but it never matches the high of what was supposed to be the main event of the night, which would have been the main event of Dynamite.
Yeah, I can agree with that. You'll usually peak, because it did last week. It peaked with the Darby match. Who did he face? Kevin Knight, I believe. And then it turned it way down. And I mean, we had a couple of squash matches in there. Like Speedball's match was it wasn't a squash. It was against AR Fox, but even that, like, no one had energy for it because it was right after the Darby match.
Congratulations, AR Fox, by the way.
Oh yeah, he won the ROH TV title. I saw that. Good for him. But then the main event for Collision last week was a lot of fun. So you're gonna get a little dip, and then they'll send you home happy. All right. I got one more. Fernando saying way too many CMLL talent on Collision. I like a lot of the CMLL talent, and a lot of them are dual contracted, and you got to make the partners happy. So,
yeah, like if it's a Hechiseto, I'm not going to complain. If it's a Persephone, I'm not going to complain. There are certain people, like if they're like not no name guys, I shouldn't say that, but if they're guys who I have no exposure to whatsoever, it's a little different. I'll agree with you, but I don't mind guys that I'm familiar with getting more TV time.
I don't think we've been seeing a whole lot of like Atlantis Jr. or who's a Volador or any of those guys. Really, we're seeing like if you get CMLL guys, it usually ends up being like Mystico or the Mascara Dorada or people like that. I think a lot of the CMLL guys end up on Ring of Honor and they tape the same night as Collision, usually.
Yeah.
So if you go to one of those cards, that's what you usually end up getting. But they're still a lot of fun. And it's almost Forbidden Door season. So don't be surprised if you not only see a lot of CMLL guys, but New Japan guys starting to pop over as well.
Yeah.
All right. So following the championship match, Darby, after washing his mouth out because he was bleeding so much, grabbed the mic and told MJF to get his ass out there because they have a contract to sign. So MJF comes out and he tepidly walks to the ring as they set a table up and bring the contract out and everything. And then Darby just immediately signs the contract as blood, again, is continuing to drip out of his mouth. And Max is just pacing back and forth. And then MJF goes to sign, doesn't sign, goes to sign again, and then decides not to, and instead grabs a microphone and explains to Darby that he's actually happy for him, saying he hopes Darby had fun holding his AEW World Championship. Because deep down, there's a very small part of him, as small, and I'm quoting here, as small as the size of a penis of a man in North Carolina, which is where they were, a very small part of him that feels bad for Darby because he knows that Darby will never hold the title again. He's got as good of a shot at holding the title again as Hangman Adam Page. Max says guys like Darby are a dime a dozen, here today, gone tomorrow stuntmen who like to pretend that life is all about making friends and family and your children when the only thing that matters is your legacy. Darby's legacy will be that of a kid who had his 15 minutes of fame, and they'll pretend Darby made an impact, but he really hasn't, and they'll know that deep down he was too reckless and stupid to remain on top. But after Double or Nothing, and I quote this here, in that shithole New York City, what the fuck, Max?
No, he's been clear. He does not like Manhattan. He only likes Long Island.
I know, that's fair, but...
Admittedly, Queens is still like, we're pretty fucking close, bro.
Yeah, but even then, Queens is not Long Island, and he has played face in the city before, so still. Anyway, MJF says his legacy is going to be that of a guy who became a 3-time world champion at the age of 30, and then it will be that of the greatest of all time. Darby might like to brag that he's the guy who climbed the world's greatest mountaintop, but in professional wrestling, Maxwell Jacob Friedman is the mountaintop. MJF then slams the mic and he poses for everybody and gets booed. And Darby grabs a mic and just tells Max to shut up, telling him that only someone as vain as him would care about legacy. What Darby cares about is living in the moment. And in this moment, he wants MJF to sign the damn contract so he could shave his head and make him a bald bitch. MJF then finally signs and he walks around the table with the contract, kind of tossing it and then surprising Darby with a double leg takedown and beating him down with the Dynamite Diamond Ring. I should start saying a Dynamite Diamond Ring.
Yeah, there's multiple.
Yes, 2 of them were involved in these back-to-back segments. So hopefully Max gets that other one back. Anyway, MJF eventually gets up and Darby kind of staggers to his seat and Max hits him with a knockout blow using the ring. And that allows Max to pose over him with the title. And then MJF goes to leave, but instead comes back and he brings Darby into the corner and tries to set him up for the tombstone piledriver from the second rope. However, MJF is chased off by Kevin Knight, who helps Darby to his feet as we go off the air. So, James, this was good. I mean, it was contract signing. It was a little different considering Darby was, again, literally dripping blood following his title defense, which made it a little unique, which I guess is where we're going to have to use a lot for Darby's title reign here. But good promo from MJF. Nice quick rebuttal from Darby. And we get a big beatdown by Max before.
No, for sure. I thought this was fine for what it was. I thought it was good for what it was. I think Darby could have gotten maybe a little creative with the blood. We've seen it before that guys aren't afraid to sign contracts in their own blood, and he was already like leaking a little bit.
I thought he was going to spit it in Max's face after he called him.
That might have been a health hazard.
Yeah, after he called him a bald bitch. I don't know. We've seen worse. We saw somebody drink somebody's blood. You think spitting blood in his face is going to be a problem?
I was actually a little surprised it was Kevin Knight who made the save.
Think it's Speedball?
Either Speedball would have made more sense because he's invested in the match for next week. It's just more so that we've been so expecting Knight to turn heel that I wouldn't have expected him to make the save. But it was still nice. It was still well done. And we'll see what comes next with this title match for next week and then Sunday. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm curious to see how much more they're going to make me hype for the match next week. But, I mean, Hairverse title basically sells itself, especially with MJF.
Yeah.
Because while I think, and this is something I discussed last week, while I think Max is going to win, there is that opportunity where either MJF has to shave his head for a role or he needs to buzz it again because
that's what I've been thinking.
He needs to grow in naturally following the transplant, or he's got to do it again. Whatever the possible instance is, there's that small chance that we do actually see Max get his head buzzed.
So supposedly, when you go through this process, you have to do it a couple of times, and then there's the big one. The speculation is this might be the big one for Max. And man, I as somebody who has been fighting tooth and nail for years to enrich my scalp, I feel for Max right now. This feels wrong. But that said, I will point, I will laugh, and I will cheer if he has to shave his head.
And you will chant bald, bald, bald.
Yes.
Like the rest of us.
Speaking of which, can we please just very briefly talk about the opening segment?
I was literally about to get to it, so I'll run it down. Let me get back here.
Dying laughing, dude. It was so good.
So we had MJF arriving at Dynamite earlier in the night, and Renee Paquette caught up with him and asked him about the main event and the contract signing for the Hairverse title match at Double or Nothing, and if he's really willing to put his hair on the line, because at that point we didn't know. And MJF just ignores her and walks away. But as Renee was asking the question, we saw Rick Knox walk by. And I thought, oh, that was interesting. And then we saw Bryce Remsburg walk by. And then one of the Ball security guards walk by. And as MJF blows Renee off, he starts running into basically every bald employee in the company. Those refs I mentioned, there was a couple of random backstage guys, or maybe stagehands, or maybe guys who assemble and disassemble the ring. I didn't know who they were, but they were bald. And we had Christopher Daniels and Sanjay Dutt talking to each other, and then they laughed at Max as he walks by. John Silver walked by and like flexed and made fun of Max. And then he walked past Tommaso Ciampa, who had a beanie on, and he took it off. And then MJF finally runs into Ricochet and the Gates of Agony. And Ricochet stops Max and goes, look, don't worry. You're going to look great without your hair. Not as good as me, but you'll still look great. And then MJF is like, fucking, and he just walks off. And Ricochet is like, yeah, he'll look great. And then Toliona is like, yeah, no, he's not going to look as good as you, Joe, bro. But yeah, dude, this was fucking funny as hell.
I adored this. Like, it bordered on being like ridiculous, but they weren't trying to not be ridiculous. This managed to be both very subtly funny, because they never said it. He never said, what are all you bald people doing here? Like, eventually commentary did. I think Shivani was like, I didn't know we had that many bald people.
Yeah, no, yeah.
But
wrestling or bald elite wrestling.
Oh God. But it was a fun play on what is your worst fear? Look at it. Look at it.
No, I was cracking up. I almost missed it too because I started Dynamite a little late, and I was like, I let me rewind in the beginning, and then I saw MJF coming into the building. I was like, ooh, definitely gotta watch this, and I'm so glad I did. Okay, comments. Even though Fernando is annoying me because he said, "Who cares? New York City is New York City." No, each borough is distinct and unique, and I could spend 18 hours on that. We don't claim Staten Island. He also says that's the problem with having a world championship match every week. Not much build can be done. These matches mean nothing.
Please go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I can see where you're coming from in terms of the weekly matches, i.e. the one we had tonight and last night and Friday and whatever, last week and last Friday and whatever. I get where you're coming from with that. And the matches, they don't mean nothing. They're still for the world title. And even though we're like 99.9% certain Darby's going to retain, you got to admit they've still been really good and fun matches. And that's the point of them right now. It's not as much about the stakes as it is the wrestling.
I've seen someone say that this kind of title reign works better for the mid card than it does for the world title.
Absolutely.
See, I'm going to push back on that a little bit, if I may. I think the most obvious one in AEW would be Orange's defenses with the international title.
Yes.
I think that's like the most prominent open challenge weekly defense like type of reign and of the modern era. And I remember when that happened, I don't think I was ever more invested in a title reign. Like, let me rephrase that. I was way more invested in the international title reign than I was in the AEW world title scene at that point, just because of all of the work Orange was putting into that reign.
Who was champ at the time? World champ. Was it MJF?
I'll look at it. Give me a second when we go to the next thing. I'll look it up. But my point being, you should never care. You should never be told to care more about a mid-card title than a world title. That's not to say you can't care about a mid-card title. That's not to say that you shouldn't be invested in a mid-card title. That's not to say that a mid-card title can't surge in popularity with good booking and a good champion. But it made me care more about the mid-card title than the world title. So why not do that with the world title? I think the biggest flaw of this situation is that Darby is known to be defending against MJF. If he didn't have a rival that was meant to be the pay-per-view rival, fine. I think this works so much better because maybe Takeshita wins. Maybe Brody King finally does win it and choke Darby out. Maybe Kevin Knight turns heel, double champ. These are all things that feel way more possible without MJF in the wings. And that's what I think works with the mid-card stuff. You're not booking a pay-per-view around that title, except for when it was him and Mox. But you can go pay-per-view to pay-per-view without booking around it, and whoever is the challenger of the week challenges him at the pay-per-view. You can't do that aspect with the world title, but if you did, maybe it opens up. Look what's happening with the women's title. That's a fatal four-way on Sunday. You could build to that with the world title. You don't need to have one person being the guy challenging for it going into a pay-per-view, but it's sort of where we are. And I do think if you take MJF away from it, this title reign feels a lot stronger. And I already think it's really good.
I think I see your point here. It's a very trying to have your cake and eat it too situation.
Yeah.
Where Tony wants the defend every week title reign and also wants to build to the main event of the pay-per-view, but doing that takes away from defending the title every week because we're just predispositioned to be like, yeah, Darby's going to win because he already has this title match lined up. You know, it's what happens anytime anybody defends any of their titles when we already know they have a pay-per-view, lined up. I mean, granted, there's every once in a while we get surprised, and normally it's right before somebody faces Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series. But most of the time, if a guy has a title match before a pay-per-view, that guy or girl is going to retain their title.
Yeah, it's
so
very, very rare.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. It's kind of, for lack of a better phrase, as we say hello to Maria, what's going on? For lack of a better phrase, it kind of takes the piss out of the defenses.
Yeah.
I still think they're great defenses, but I'll tell you what, if Darby does win at Double or Nothing and he continues to defend every week, then this is going to hit another gear.
Yeah, I agree.
Because even though I think if he does win on at Double or Nothing, I think he might lose the Dynamite right after. But
interesting. Even
if he goes one more week, every week he goes, we're all going to be like, ooh, okay, who's next? Like, oh, are they going to win it? Oh. It's going to be very interesting to see if he retains a Double or Nothing. But that is a monstrosity of an if.
Yeah.
Maria continues to say that a world championship should not have a weekly open challenge.
I think she literally just missed what I said, which is funny. Like, I think she came in right after I said what I said, which just makes it that much funnier.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Technically, this isn't an open challenge. He's just accepting all comers. But...
Well, I think it is and it isn't. Like, yes, you're right. It's not like anybody could just surprise him the night of, but he's made it clear.
You want some? Come get some. Yeah. It's different than what Kevin Knight did later.
Yes, absolutely.
Where he went in blind. All right, but let's continue on with the rest of the show. Let's start with our first match of the evening, which was a 10-man clusterfuck. It was the Young Bucks, Copeland, Cage, and Orange Cassidy facing off against FTR, the Dogs, and Tommaso Ciampa. Good old PWG clusterfuck.
Absolutely. Good old PWG clusterfuck. With Cope and Christian.
Yeah, right?
Oh, man.
I got to imagine most of these guys were in PWG at one point or the other. I'm guessing the only people who weren't were Cope, Cage, and FTR. But even then, wow. And you got some good PWG-like spots where you got the Bucks tagging in Christian to try to hit the triple super kick after their first super kick party. And Christian's kick was kicking Cash in the balls. Luckily, the referee was distracted.
Sir, you need to take a second to sell this. It was art what Christian did. The man walked in, had the Bucks on both sides of him, and instead of going for some super spot, just simply walks up and kicks this man in the nuts. That is, the kids like to say this, that was cinema.
Cinema.
So, just brilliant. Beautiful.
And if that wasn't enough Christian shenanigans, we had a point where him and Orange were kind of staring each other down. Orange went to put his hands in his pockets. Christian stopped him. So Orange took Christian's hands, put them in Christian's pockets. and then put his hands in his own pockets and then got hyped up to go do a tope. And instead of being able to do so, Christian just took him and tossed him over the top rope into FTR. That led to, I think, everyone just hitting everybody with everything. And we ended up with Clark Connors and Adam Copeland in the ring. Connors lined up Cope for a spear, but Cope was able to jump it, and Connors went into Dax instead. The Bucks then joined Cope in the ring, and they hit the triple super kick. And then that got followed up by an orange punch from Cassidy. And then Cope speared a staggered Connors for the win. And there you go. And then somehow Christian fucked up his eye at the end of this.
Yeah,
so
he was bloodied.
Yeah.
He got messed up.
Yeah, but this was a lot of fun. I mean, it was, it was a lot of moving parts, but this is a good way we've seen, especially recently, to hype up the crowd. You just go into these crazy matches, especially you get the big finisher fest towards the end, and it's just a high energy, fun way to start the show.
No, it was a lot of fun. It was silly. Cope should never hit a super kick ever again.
It wasn't his forte.
It was not his forte. You would think a guy who's wrestled Shawn Michaels as long as he has, as many times as he has, would be able to hit a better super kick.
Some people aren't flexible in that direction. I'm not.
I'm pretty sure he does DDP yoga. Anyway.
I do, and I'm still not flexible in that direction.
Anyway. No, this was a lot of fun. I don't know why Orange was here. It was like he was definitely the odd man out. I don't care. Like, it was fun to have him.
The conglomeration has been conglomerating with Cope and Cage and the Bucks recently. Yeah. I guess to team up against most of these dudes. The Dogs and the conglomeration have been beefing. I think that's mainly why.
Yeah. Either way, this was a lot of fun. It's the type of match you want to see live. Like, you want to be in the crowd for it because you know you're going to have a good time. And I'm not going to lie to you, man. There are days I look at Nick Jackson and I'm like, you should have won a singles title at some point in your career.
Lucha Libre. Singles. Yeah, the Merch Freak run everybody really wanted, but I can understand why we didn't get it. If you ever need to, go back and watch some old Ring of Honor tapes when they used to do singles stuff, but it was almost always in triple threats.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen the Bucks be singles in a long time, and I highly doubt you'll get it. What's up? You know it. Good to see you, dude.
What's up, bud?
Fernando is saying he's not a fan of these overly crowded tag team matches. This is becoming a fetish for Tony. I'm going to say this is less Tony and more the Bucks, or at least the Bucks influencing Tony.
I'm going to push back even on that.
Okay, but I always thought it was that because since the Bucks have turned face, they've been having a lot of these. I guess even a little bit before then, they've been starting to have a lot of these as they were going into their face turn. But I think at least for the last couple of weeks where we've had some sort of iteration of all of this going on, it's really kind of a way to smush the Cope and Cage FTR beef and everything that's kind of on the side, which is kind of set up for Stadium Stampede, into one thing. And it lets them to continue to build the story, but it also gives so much time for other things and lets Tony play in other sandboxes. Hey, Penguin. What's going on, dude?
The only thing I'm going to say, and you kind of said it yourself a little bit too, I think it's just a good way of getting as many people on a card as possible.
Yeah.
Like, I am so grateful we had matches like Kevin Knight versus his opponent. I'm so grateful for the banger of the main event that we got for Darby versus Takeshita. Those are incredible, incredible matches. But a multi-man match like this, one, it makes the card not feel so uniform. Like, oh, wow, I got 6 singles matches tonight. You know?
Yeah. or like 5 in one regular tag.
Yeah. I was able to get a lot of talent in one match. And yes, it's a clusterfuck. It's hard to commentate on a match like this. It's hard for us to review a match like this because there's so much just shenanigans and there's just always something going on.
Yeah,
But-
I can barely take notes. Like I have
Yeah.
5 bullet points on this because there's just so much going on. You can't write all of it fast enough.
But it's more about the feeling. And for me, the feeling is fun. I had fun with it, you know? It sometimes, if it's all you do, like a la Teddy Long, every main event of SmackDown is a tag team match player.
Or
Like,
one-on-one with the Undertaker player.
like, sure, I get what you're saying. But I think this is fine for an undercard match, you know? It's multiple feuds interacting at once. It's multiple things going on at once. And for the most part, everybody here does have some type of relationship with one another. Arguably, the dogs are sort of like the odd ones out. Arguably, like Orange was the odd one out. But everything still here works. For me.
Yeah. And even then, like, even if they're the odd ones out, the dogs are actually kind of feuding with the Bucks. And again, that led into Stadium Stampede stuff.
Yeah.
And Orange was feuding with the dogs as well, which is why everyone's been kind of conglomerating with them. One more thing. The Bucks and Cope and Cage, their tag team chemistry came in like that. It's so good already. And they've only had like 1 match together, maybe 2.
Let's be real. We always credit the Bucks for their love for the Hardys. They always felt like the next generation Hardys in a lot of ways. And they admitted they grew up watching the Hardys. Well, guess who the Hardys were wrestling for years?
Team
that they
3D.
probably. All right, next.
I'm not wrong. I'm just
not
an ass.
wrong. You're not wrong. I just don't like.
Maria's laughing at our Nick Jackson singles title run. Back in the day, I think there was a chance. Now, I'm not sure he would do it.
If Ray Phoenix can win the international title, why can't Nick Jackson win the national title from Mark Davis?
I don't know from Davis, but again, they don't want to.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it shouldn't feel like something we scoff at. That's all.
Yeah, he definitely has the talent.
Yes.
Let's see. Penguin saying, "Long live the gingerbread man." R.I.P. Bald MJF loading. He's going to quote Larry David.
He's got that personality.
Yeah, well, he's a Long Island Jew. Fernando saying he hated Teddy Long as GM. Sorry, player. Holla.
Hello.
White guys. Okay.
One of my favorite Curb Your Enthusiasm bits is Larry David going to Susie. Who are you? You're a Jew from the Bronx. It's like there's nothing unique about you. It's that's for shameless plug. Go watch Curb Your Enthusiasm. Incredible show.
Ooh, Fernando's upset you compared Ray Phoenix to Nick Jackson.
They're the same person.
No. I'm just going to say no.
Wait a minute. I love Phoenix. I love Ray. What separates him from Nick Jackson other than the mask?
Ray has had the singles career. Nick hasn't.
By choice. I'm saying in the ring.
I think Ray. I love Nick Jackson to death, and I think he's a highly underrated wrestler. But I still think Ray is better.
Can we put a poll? Is that something we can do?
I would have to do it like on the actual YouTube channel, so I would be a little distracted. I could do it.
I think we should,
dude. There was a point where I genuinely thought Ray Phoenix was a top 3 wrestler on the planet. I was Kenny in Okada.
God. All right.
I would win that poll.
I don't know. Maybe you'll get the votes, but that doesn't mean you're right. This is America.
Things are subjective. What's next? Miz and Daniel Bryan are the same guy.
What is happening?
All right, that's way off base there. I think you're way off base on that. Funny though, but way off base. All right, let me give back control of this episode. All right, let's go to one of the current best wrestlers in the world, Will Ospreay. He's once again training with the Death Riders, and we get a peek into their regimen as Daniel Garcia once again introduces us to the proceedings, telling us that Ospreay has been working really hard and has some new tricks up his sleeve. And he tells young boy Billy to show him what he's learned. We then pan over to Moxley and Ospreay with Ospreay upside down in a bridge working on his neck while Moxley demonstrates a chokehold on Wheeler Yuta. Mox then asks Ospreay how he feels, and they get as they get off, Will says his neck feels the best it's felt in a while. I think that's what he said. He kind of mumbled it. Mox then asks Will if he remembers the night he won Best of Super Juniors. And Will's like, yeah, it felt like a lifetime ago. And Mox's like, yeah, it was. You were carefree and you flew like a bird for no other reason than that's what birds do. Mox says there's no other feeling in the world like that, and you can't grab the joy of doing it in your hands for more than a few seconds. But then everybody comes in and tries to make it so overcomplicated. Years pass, life happens, family comes along, maybe you make some bad decisions, those catch up to you, and you have all this weight that makes you feel like you can't fly. But nothing has changed. That weight is always going to be there, but you can still fly. You're just more dangerous. You're a bird of prey. So tonight, when I don't know why I wrote when Will goes Ospreay. Whatever. Tonight, Moxley tells him not when Will goes out there. I think I meant to say
you never go full Ospreay.
When Will goes out there, Mox tells him not to protect anything, just to go out there and give something. And then Moxley abruptly ends his wrestling by yelling at Wheeler Yuta to like do the headlock better or something. And then Ospreay is there to ponder what he said. When did Moxley become a philosophizer? Because this might be the best life talk I've ever had.
I mean, Mox was always the best talker of the Shield. I don't care what anybody says. Roman became a really great promo over the years. Seth has always been really fun, but Mox was the original guy. And when he pulls it out, when he goes deep, it hits. So great work from him. It really makes me wonder, like, what the overall plan is, because, like the easy temptation is like a Daniel Bryan Wyatt family situation. Join us because we know what's best. Like, you have to conform to what we want you to be. That's not what this is. Mox is simply trying to bring out the best of Ospreay, and whatever that means for Ospreay. So I am so intrigued by this dynamic.
Same, and I think we saw a very interesting thing with it later, but I'm curious to see maybe if Ospreay can help change the Death Riders a little bit too. But, instead of attacking so much, and doing underhanded things and maybe pushing them a little more face, because even that being said, they are still tweeners, which is a weird thing to say. They're feuding with, apparently it looks like they'll be feuding with the Ops, who are heels. They're feuding with the Don Callis family, who are heels. But then they were also they're feuding with the Bang Bang Gang, who are face. Like it's a weird little dynamic they got going. And at this point, I think they're the Death Riders. I don't know if they're really heel or face, which is interesting. And I guess at a certain point, Ospreay is going to have to make the decision of, is he a Death Rider or not, and so on and so forth. But let's get to some more comments. Maria saying, at least relevant to this, I hope this trash with Will Ospreay and the Death Riders ends soon. I disagree. I am enjoying this a lot, and I do not think it's trash. I'm curious. Look, it can end poorly. We don't know where it's going to go, but at the moment, I'm enjoying what is going on. I'm enjoying Will's transformation. I am going to watch this Moxley promo every night before I go to bed for the rest of my life. And I'm curious to see what happens now with the Ops, especially with the reveal of the Owen Hart tournament bracket, which we'll get to later. So, I'm loving this. I don't understand. I'm not really sure why you.
Let us know what isn't working for you, other than just maybe the concept isn't something that you like.
Yeah, I can see why people are upset with the concept. I mean, him going to the people who try to end his career is a bit of a, I don't want to say stretch, but you have to suspend some serious disbelief.
If this wasn't professional wrestling, this would not work anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like wrestling and comic books are basically the only two places where your mortal enemy can become like your teacher the next day.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's I don't want to say weird, but yeah, because she's saying like the concept is dumb, and like I get like the baseline of it, of like I said, Ospreay going to them for help, as opposed to like he's been offering going to say Samoa Joe. I know Joe is a heel now, but you would think he would go to a former ally over the guys who tried to end your career, but I don't know. Again, outside of kayfabe, Ospreay is trying to change up his style a little bit and ground himself a little more to extend his career. So they had to go in some direction. My guess is this is what he picked.
Yeah.
Question from Penguin, a random one. Where's Britt Baker? Random thought. Good question, because we don't fucking know.
According to Britt, it's not her choice. It's not up to her when she comes back. I don't know. Look, I've seen a lot of people say the division has outgrown her. It has surpassed her, and they don't need her anymore. And I'm not going to deny that the in-ring talent has absolutely surpassed her. I'm not going to deny that there are some great talkers in the women's division now, so she's not head and shoulders above anyone the way she was at one point on the mic. I will draw the line at, I do think she still has value. I do think she can get over. I just think it's a matter of whatever drama there was, all parties involved need to say that was the past. Let's move beyond it. And either she's back or she's not. I respect the fact that Tony doesn't like to divulge in backstage contract drama. We hear way more about WWE contract status than we ever hear about AEW contract status.
Yeah. Even if we do hear AEW stuff, it's like right towards the end when probably people
Will Hobbs leaving tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw this evening Fightful put out a report that Big Bill's contract is up either at the end of this month or early next month. And it's like, okay, the only reason you probably know that is probably because people on the other side have heard things and they're telling you because they're starting to put out feelers to see if he would want to come back, or if they want or to even take him back. So they don't leak AEW. They don't leak a lot. Yeah.
So just back to the Brit stuff. I would love to have her back. If she's not causing trouble backstage, I'd love to have her back. I think seeing her in this modern era of the AEW women's division would be a lot of fun and be pretty interesting. And I would love to see her prove people wrong. I really would. That said, if she did cheat on Adam Cole,
didn't know that was a rumor.
You didn't know that?
No, I don't.
But
so like any of that shit. I don't need to know. We're gonna end up spending.
No, hold on.
But I can guess who the locker room is. Whose side they're taking.
All I'll say is the names that were listed as the potential person she did that with range from bottom of the card to top of the company. Not top of the card, top of the company.
Which would be Tony.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I saw some bullshit about that.
What are we doing, guys? No, it absolutely is silly bullshit. But what are we doing here, guys? Relax.
The internet's dumb. However, Maria agrees that Britt is yesterday's news, comparing her to the Bellas and Paige.
I do think she's probably better suited to WWE at this point, but she would absolutely need to beg whoever is hiring in WWE to let her skip NXT. She has said too much terrible stuff about NXT to go through that pipeline. She would just need a direct line to the main roster.
Yeah, probably. Plus, we also don't know how she is physically because she's been away so long. But who knows?
The last time we saw her, she was on TV for. She was in the crowd for a football game.
Oh, probably what, Steelers game?
Probably. It was like a couple of weeks ago, if not maybe a month ago.
Oh, if it was a couple.
It was college. Yeah, it was college. Is it college? Maybe it wasn't even football. It was sports. She was in for a sports thing. She was in the
Okay.
crowd for something sports related.
Pirates. That'd
Let's
be
look.
my Penguins. So maybe a Penguins playoff game. I'm just guessing Pittsburgh related stuff. Well, you figure that out. I'll move on. We had a video package setting up everything that happened with Stadium Stampede, all the way from the first one to what's going on with this one. And then we went backstage with the Demand and Mark Davis. So Ricochet is the man who's going to talk. And he says that Jericho does a lot of standing around and talking out of his ass, unlike them who get things done. Mark Davis won the national championship and has been added to their dream team for Stadium Stampede. Side note, shout out Mark Davis. We absolutely nailed that.
Yep.
I at least nailed it last week. I said Davis is going to win on Fairway to Hell, and I was right.
We've had stock in Davis for some time.
Yep.
And we're in the green right now. Buddy.
We bought low.
Yeah. Diamond hands. Diamond hands.
Thanks to Ricochet's golfing buddy, that carny piece of shit, Don Callis, they have also added Andrade El Idolo to the team. And he walks in and he is less than thrilled to be there, but whatever. And then Ricochet says he was also approached by two guys who have an axe to grind with the Young Bucks. And who is he to say no to the Dogs? So they walk in with Finlay saying that they will fight the Young Bucks in the ring or in the streets, but it looks like they'll be fighting at Stadium Stampede. And who better to call when you want chaos and destruction than the Dogs? So that officially makes your teams Chris Jericho, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin of the Hurt Syndicate, and Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and Jungle Jack Perry of the Elite on one side.
That's insane.
And then you have Ricochet, Toliona, and Bishop Khan, the Demand, David Finlay, and Clark Connors of the Dogs, and Mark Davis and Andrade El Idolo of the Don Callis family on the other.
Come on. This is so one-sided that I'm terrified there's going to be a twist.
Maybe. It'd be fun. I was going to give you the opportunity here, James, because you didn't really get a chance to speak about this last week. What are your thoughts on them bringing back Stadium Stampede and bringing it back at the U.S. Open? Billie Jean King Plaza, whatever the hell it's called.
I mean, I'm excited because we're going to be there. As if we haven't said that to you guys already, we're going to be there. So I was a little worried going into the show. Am I really not getting a Kenny Omega appearance at the pay-per-view? Like, I was bummed. And then I saw that he was announced for this, and I got really excited. I think the only reason we're not getting Anarchy in the Arena is because Anarchy in the Arena has an expectation to be more violent, as opposed to Stadium Stampede, which has a reputation of being, I don't want to say wackier, but like wackier.
It's a little wackier.
It's a little cartoonier.
Yeah. So I talked a lot about this last week, and I've been reading up a bit on it as well. The New York State Athletic Commission apparently has a big deal with people blading.
Yeah.
In wrestling or getting blood in general.
Yeah.
And Anarchy in the Arena, you're going to blade or you're going to get split open with something, because most of the time they do fucking something insane and people are going to bleed. Stadium Stampede, if they pre-tape it.
And that's what I'm worried about.
Which I think, because I was thinking about this last week, they could do it the night before. They could do it in a much more controlled environment, get all the wacky stuff done, and then probably have it spill into the actual ring.
Yeah.
Or around there, and probably do some like crazy stunts to finish it off or finish it back outside. Whatever it is. I got a weird feeling this is going to finish inside Louis Armstrong as opposed to outside. Yeah. But I don't know how much of that area you've been in, James. They do have a lot to work with.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. It's the type of thing that I'm a little bummed that we're going to be there for it, because we're going to be watching a screen.
Yeah.
So that's a little frustrating. But if I was at home, I'd be super excited. If I wasn't going to it, I would be super, super excited. I know that Fernando is saying we don't need Anarchy in the Arena. Let's move on from this stuff. I like it.
It's fun.
I grew up. One of my favorite segments on WWE TV was the Hardcore Championship. I love the Hardcore Championship. I love the 24/7 rule. So I loved seeing these guys battling around the arena, chasing each other for a title. WrestleMania 18 was the start of my full-time wrestling. And to see Maven start the show as champion, lose the title, it go through however many people it went through, and then end the night again as champion. I love that stuff. So I love stuff like this, like Stadium Stampede. I love stuff like Anarchy in the Arena. It shouldn't be overdone. There should maybe be at most one a year. There really shouldn't be too much because then it starts to dilute what it is. But one of my all-time favorite wrestling memories, Anarchy in the Arena, Kenny Omega saying, let's play that shit, and then let the bodies hit the floor. Being background music to a war. I like
that was the first
incredible.
one, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, not the first one.
No, it wasn't. It was not.
No. I forgot the first one was the Moxley one because he didn't want to do a Stadium Stampede.
Yeah. So I love stuff like this. I am absolutely the target audience for this. If it's not for you, I am sorry, but try to find the fun in it. Try to find some fun in it because I'm sure they're trying to have fun with it.
Grant Fernando, a little benefit of the doubt here. We have had 2 Anarchy in the Arena lights recently. We had the Mile High Madness, and then we had another one semi-recently as well. So I get where you're coming from there, Fernando. But I love these matches. They're fun as all hell. The Stadium Stampede, even if they pre-tape it, is going to be interesting, especially because I'm just really curious to see what fun they have in the whole Billie Jean King complex. So to answer your question, who is Billie Jean King? The tennis player.
Played by Emma Stone.
She was. Yes, she was. With Steve Carell. Yeah. So I think it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun, and also just because now we're bringing up hardcore title memories. I don't remember who had the title, but when they were at Chuck E. Cheese that one time, and they were at the ball pit.
I think it was Crash Holly.
Yeah, the ball pits and shit. That was great.
Yeah.
And then every time I go back and watch Rock Hogan, it ends, and then the whole thing happens where the NWO comes out and turns on Hogan, and then that cuts to, I think it might be Beth Phoenix backstage with the hardcore title, and then Christian opens a door on the top of a door on her and knocks her ass out.
It was Molly Holly.
Oh, was it Molly Holly? She had blonde hair. My bad. I'm so used to Molly
Holly.
Right. I'm so used to her having the dark hair that I forgot she had blonde hair for a while. Just JR going, who is that? And he goes, oh, it's that damn Christian. Look at him against a woman. And just every time, man, I always stop and watch that.
It is great stuff. Christian, who lost earlier in the night to DDP for the European title.
Yeah.
The only title DDP ever won in WWE.
Yeah. Fernando's saying he likes old school war games. So, yeah, I think more what you're saying is just Tony's doing this too much, as opposed to you don't like it in general.
Yeah.
And Penguin also saying losing the hardcore title while sleeping was really funny.
Yep.
That's
like the DDT pro wrestling shit.
Oh yeah, that was that title got lost in a dream. The DDT Open Neverweight, whatever that one that got lost. It won itself. A ladder won it. I love that title.
My God.
Also, speaking of pinning people while sleeping, hang on. You ever see that video of Jushin Thunder Liger on a Japanese game show, and he goes around and tries to pin all of the wrestlers while they're asleep? Have you ever seen that? It's so fucking funny, dude. Tanahashi kicks out at 1.
Of course he does. I love that Jushin Thunder Liger is one of the most respected Japanese wrestlers of all time. And he has a history of just doing the silliest, goofiest shit.
Oh, it was the golden asshole of Thunder Liger, in the PWG match.
That was iconic.
Oh no, he's so funny. I don't remember who they end up pinning somebody at the end of it. No, I'm not gonna spoil it. I'll let you see it. Go look that up one day. It's so funny. Yeah, after this, we'll watch it later. All right. Our next match. So it was a quick spot. Quick motherfucking squash to get Speedball on the card. Speedball Mike Bailey versus a kid named Westbrook. who did a decent job of pinballing around the ring to try to avoid Bailey until he ate a boot in the corner. And then Speedball went up top, hit the ultimate weapon for the
Are
win.
you kidding me?
I could be. I kind of fast forwarded through this.
But this man had such a botch. I had to leave the room because the secondhand embarrassment was killing me.
Ooh, okay. My bad.
I texted you. And so this is what I texted you, by the way. That you were like, I don't know what you're referring to. He takes a move that he's supposed to go, I guess, through the ropes, like backwards. He eats shit and gets hung up on the rope to the point that Speedball's in the opposite corner, making the most hilarious face trying to keep it together. Like, what was that? I will always give a wrestler the benefit of the doubt. I will always say that sucks. I can't believe that happened. It felt like this kid was trying to show off and then he ate shit for it.
I guess.
God, I hope you can find it. I hope you can find it while we're talking. It was awful.
I mean, yeah, I'm probably just going to have to go to like Matthew's Twitter or something. If not, I'm sure I'll see it there in a couple of weeks.
It was horrendous. Like, I don't like calling people out like this. I was stressed out watching it. Yep, that was a big old botch.
That then led very quickly, though, into our TNT Open Challenge. So Knight gets in the ring. Justin Roberts gets there. Speedball is kind of hanging out outside. I get a little nervous.
You did too, right? I was terrified.
But then we get some music, and our challenger is the returning Brian Cage, who came out with the Don Callis family, which I was excited about.
I was pleasantly surprised. I thought we were just gonna pretend he wasn't part of the family.
Yeah. I'm really excited he's back. I'm a big Cage fan, especially in the family. I thought they were doing a good job there. Depending on what they want to do, I wouldn't put him in the tag team with Davis to replace him, but I would wait for Doyle to come back and then put them together.
That's what I was gonna say. Let Davis have his singles run. Put him with Doyle. I mean, I don't know if you remember, he was in a team that we were kind of enjoying with Archer.
Yeah, we can do that too.
The Murder Hawk Machines, I think they were.
Yeah,
or the Murder Machines. Like, either way, like, I'm excited he's back. Well, yep. I got it. All right, go watch the special, guys. I got to be real. Brian Cage feels like the perfect, like, 13-year-olds create a wrestler.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I say that as a compliment. This guy's moveset is insane. This guy's look, especially back when he had the mohawk and the Wolverine sideburns, was insane. Like, he's something special. I have a lot of fun watching Brian Cage.
Yeah, so do I. That's what I'm so glad he's back too. He's in a perfect role where he is with the Don Callis family. Well, at least he was, and then obviously he got hurt. So hopefully he can slot in real nice again in that role and really get right back to it, because he can do everything. And I know he's a little older, so maybe he can't do as much as he used to, but he can still do 99% of it. And when his insane, like, flippy athleticism goes, he can just continue to be an absolute powerhouse, and he'll be able to wrestle forever. Okay, so getting into the match, we had Archer, who we just mentioned, actually get involved at multiple points in the match, but Speedball was able to counter him, eventually taking him out towards the end of the match. That led to a missed top rope for Karana by Knight. He just kind of slipped through Cage's hands and his head. But then, because Knight was falling by his feet, Cage, I think this made it look cooler.
Yeah,
Cage
I
caught Knight by his feet and pulled him back up to his shoulders for a power bomb, and then Knight reversed that into the Hurricanrana, and then went back up top and hit UFO splash to retain the title. After the match, Speedball and Knight grabbed mics and they congratulate each other on the runs they've been on. Knight tries to say how disappointed he was in not being able to get the job done last week and become Jack 2 belts, but Speedball cuts him off, saying that everyone knows Knight is a future world champion. And in fact, Knight has inspired him, and Speedball calls out the winner of Darby versus Takeshita, saying that Takeshita was his greatest rival in Japan, but they never had a singles match in AEW. And as much for Darby, as much as he'd like to see MJF go bald, he's still going to come for Darby and become AEW World Champ. So good little promo there, but that's why we think Speedball gets next week. But as for the match, really nice to see Cage back, and I thought him and Knight put on a real good show here.
No, I did too. I found the clip, by the way. I'm going to send it to you in a second.
Okay.
I great return for Cage. I don't want to say that he looked rusty. I don't think that was necessarily the case, but he was having, I think, a little bit of trouble matching Knight's speed. Beyond that one botch that you spoke about, that I do think that they found a way of making look good and working around. There was that other spot where Knight hits a tope to the outside, and he literally just slides off Cage's shoulders. Did you see that?
Yeah, and that's almost what I thought you were talking about when you mentioned the botch. It almost looked like Cage kind of sidestepped him and slammed him, so it didn't look as bad. I think
that's what they turned it into, and I think that's a great pivot. But it did feel like maybe there was just like a little bit of trouble matching each other's speed. Cage plays such a great power man, and Knight, who's not a small guy, mind you, he's just a high flyer. He played into that. He played into Cage's power. He was taking stuff that Cage made him look gigantic, made him look like a monster. That drop that he took to the ring apron from the outside, that was rough. So just a fun matchup. This is what I love about these mid-card title open challenges. It opens up to some really, really fun matches. And I think we got another great title match tonight. I think Knight is proving himself to be a very capable singles guy. And I'm still afraid for Speedball. Like I never had an inkling in my head that Speedball would turn heel. But then our audience, you guys in the comments, have instilled so much fear in me that he's going to be the one to screw over Knight. And I don't think that makes sense. But maybe. I don't know. The camera was absolutely playing him in the corner.
Yeah,
it was
right.
Absolutely focusing on him in the corner. But he came to his partner's aid several times in this match, taking out Archer, distracting Cage for a moment, and it worked. It absolutely worked. So, fun matchup. What were we going to say?
No, I was just, I feel like a lot of this is just us putting that on them.
I know.
Because nothing either of them has done really plays almost nothing. I mean, I think Knight maybe has done a couple of things.
Knight winning the title was off of Speedball. Like, he hits that UFO drop off Speedball, who was doing all the work, and then he got put in the submission, and then that was it.
Okay, that's fair. But and nothing either of them have said to each other or done otherwise leads us to believe that either of them would turn, at least at the moment. You know, usually they drop hints and stuff, but other than, hey, you know, I wanted to win the title, you wanted to win the title, you won it fair and square, even though I kind of screwed you in the process. Other than that, neither of them have done anything wrong to each other. Yeah. So, like I said, I think we're reading a little too much into this.
I will say, and maybe I am still reading too much into it.
Sometimes.
Knight drops a line in the promo afterwards that felt a little passive-aggressive. But we'll talk about it when we talk about it.
Well, what did you? I already talked about the promo, so if you want to...
He was just like, you know, I'm the TNT champion, and I know Speedball, if you keep trying, you'll win a singles title soon.
Yeah.
Too. And it's like, okay, all right, be cool, little bro. Relax.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying, because Knight is very arrogant.
Yes.
And because of that, he will say stuff like that, where he thinks he's gassing you up, but at the same time, it's kind of like a bit of a backhanded compliment.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying there. All right, some comments on this. Fernando saying Brian Cage is the top 5 best big man in the business when he's 100% healthy. Losing Royce Keys means nothing because we have this man.
I will say, I was missing Royce Keys in that ops segment later. I was like, this group does not feel full anymore. It does not feel as stacked as it used to.
Yeah, I like Bowens, and I think going to the ops is going to be good for him. But losing Powerhouse, they lose a large presence,
Yeah.
both literally and figuratively. Let's go on, Darius. Let's see. My favorite wrestler,
Come on,
Claudio
man.
Castagnoli, is in this year's Owen. We're about to get to that, and I hope the Death Riders will have a match at Double or Nothing. Love the segment tonight. I think they definitely will in some capacity. I have to imagine. Fernando saying Archer is very overrated. I used to think he was underrated, not anymore. Wasted potential. I also think we have to put into context that Archer is like 52 years old or something.
Yeah, and he hasn't wrestled a match in God knows how long. He's simply muscle for the group at the moment.
Yeah, I was like, he's Don's bodyguard essentially.
Yeah. When he does wrestle, he fits a role that I think is important. He is an absolute like his old manager. He is Jake the Snake Roberts for today. He is a upper mid card heel that baby faces on the rise can beat to look good. Like it should be impressive to beat someone as big and monstrous as Archer. So if you can't tell me if Speedball beats Archer at some point next week, that's not going to make Speedball look friggin' cool, you know?
Yeah. And thank you to Darius. Archer's 49. I was only half kidding when I said 52, but I knew somewhere around there. But yeah, I think upper at the moment might be a little high for him just because he doesn't wrestle as much. But
yeah,
back in the day when he was
early AEW.
Yeah, early AEW, and then even up until the point where like he was fighting and beating Moxley for the IWGP US title. Like he was up there. He was a bit of a gatekeeper, but it worked. Now he is more in the background. But I think every time he does step in the ring, it works out really well.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see. They're saying, imagine next Wednesday on Dynamite, we get Claudio Mox and Ospreay against Joe Shibata and Bowens. That would be an interesting matchup. I think at some point we will see Ospreay have to tag with the Death Riders. I just don't know when that will be. He also says 2 second-round matches in the Owen. He wants to hear Claudio Swerve 2.
That'll be great.
Yep, after their Daily's Place match. And I'm going to botch this. Is it Saray?
Yeah. Saray
and Mina. Yep. Possibility there. We're going to get to the women when they introduce the bracket. We will get to the men in a second because they're next. We say hello to Steve. What's going on, dude? Billie Jean King was a very well-known tennis player who defeated a man in the Battle of the Sexes tennis match. That, and she was also, a big advocate for removing sexism in tennis in general. And you should learn about her if you don't know who she is.
Yep.
She was very important.
All the respect for Billie Jean.
Maria saying Kevin spoke to Speedball like he was his little brother or son.
Thank you. That's what I said. Yep. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, exactly. And this is more your department, James. Very excited for Supercard of Honor this Friday and a live collision this Saturday. Hoping for Shane Taylor Promotions versus Claudio Garcia and Yuta for the 6-man titles.
I am very conflicted about this pay-per-view. The main event is Bandito. Well, I don't know about the main event. Let me rephrase that. I don't know what Athena's doing. The world title is Bandito defending against Blake Christian. And Blake Christian has been busting his ass in Ring of Honor. Like, all the credit to him. The man's officially all elite as of this year.
Yep.
All the credit to him. But why the flip? Not Gordon, but why the flip have I been watching Swerve having these friggin' amazing vignettes for Bandito? And he's not challenging this man for the Ring of Honor title, but they're wrestling in the first round of the Owen. I know we're going to get to it. It's frustrating. It's really, really frustrating. Swerve is even, I don't know if you've been watching him on social media. He's pushing an angle right now that he hasn't been showing up on AEW TV because management doesn't want him to come in and hurt the talent. That's fair, fine. So he goes to Ring of Honor to take the title from them. Like that's such a great story. If you don't have any intention of putting the AEW World Championship on Swerve anytime soon, fine. Have him win the Ring of Honor title. It's a belt he could wear on his waist that doesn't disrupt AEW television. And it boosts Ring of Honor. This doesn't even come from me being an ROH guy. I know I get that at me a lot, but it just comes from just basic sense. Basic sense. I don't get it. I do not understand.
maybe that's still the plan. It's just not at Super Card of Honor. It comes at another pay-per-view, and this match in the Owen is the start of that. I mean, and with all due respect, the idea that AEW wouldn't let him go to work, but Ring of Honor would, is a little dumb because Tony does own both companies.
But to me, it's a matter of, okay, they're afraid of all I'm doing in AEW. They don't want me to tarnish this reputation for AEW. So let me go to Ring of Honor where you don't have to worry about me being on TV and scaring people away. I think there's something to that. I don't know. I'm bummed.
Fernando is saying that the Ring of Honor title would be a step down for Swerve.
The Ring of Honor title. So I'm not even going to disagree.
Or he's asking why that would be a step down. Either way.
Or he's either saying, why am I suggesting this? Or why would it be a step down?
Yeah.
Well, let me say, I do think the Ring of Honor title is a step down for Swerve right now. But I'd also argue pretty much any title is going to feel like a step down for Swerve, who is Mr. AEW and had a great reign with the AEW World Championship. But it's very clear at the moment, it doesn't feel like they plan on putting the AEW title back on Swerve. We're going to talk about the men's Owen bracket, and yes, he's a part of it. He absolutely is a part of it. I don't think he's winning it. And I don't think he's going to win the title off of whoever does win the Owen or maybe the championship. We're going to get into all of those things. All I'm saying is there is an opportunity to take a title that absolutely needs a little bit of shine and having a guy who everything he touches glows. Everything he touches shimmers. Put that on a championship that you're still trying to get a TV deal for. If you want people to care about something, you got to give them a reason to care. I love Bandito. You love Bandito. Bandito being Ring of Honor champion has not gotten that company any more spotlight.
No, and it looks good for Bandito, but I don't watch Ring of Honor all the time, but I wouldn't be surprised if that has run its course.
Yeah, for sure. And let me throw another stat at you. AR Fox winning the ROH TV title is the first time since Tony Khan has purchased Ring of Honor that a title has changed hands on Ring of Honor television. That's insane. I'm not even saying Swerve needs to win it at Ring of Honor, but let's move on. I'm stressed.
Well, I mean, to make you more stressed, Fernando's saying, let's get the NXT title around Punk or Randy Orton.
Fernando, I'm going to fight you. I'm going to fight you, Fernando.
Becky Lynch went back down and won the NXT Women's Championship recently. So let's not pretend that
Dolph Ziggler won the NXT Men's title.
Yeah, like, let's not pretend that doesn't happen, you know? And that's proper developmental. Ring of Honor, while it's semi-developmental, it also isn't. Yeah. It's an actual promotion that Tony runs. So I putting the title on Swerve is not a bad idea. Yeah. But I don't know how that's going to go. What's up, Tyler, as we say hello to him. I heard a rumor with Swerve. He's having issues with Tony Khan. And that's why he's not on a TV show. Pretty sure it's a work, dude.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a storyline, but they're doing a good job of selling the story.
Yep. Derek's also saying before he leaves that if we get MXMTV versus the Death Riders, that's Super Card of Honor too. That would just be a bloodbath.
Good night, by the way. I hope you have a good one.
Yep. Tyler's saying Swerve could help out with Ring of Honor. And yeah, I would think putting the title on him would. And I mean, Swerve headlining a Ring of Honor pay-per-view, I think would draw a lot more eyes to it.
Absolutely. Remember, we're not that far removed from Eddie Kingston versus Claudio for the Ring of Honor title, and it being a draw for the show, it being a draw for one of their pay-per-views. It feels like we've fallen a long way away from that, and that's a shame. So it would just be nice to I said it.
Yeah. All right, I want to get into the rest of the Owen bracket here. So let me just pull it up for the rest of you guys so you guys can check it out. So on one side of it, we have Samoa Joe and Will Ospreay. That's going to be a double or nothing. I'm very excited for that. We also have the Mark Davis Jungle Jack Perry rematch. We talked about Swerve and Bandito, another match we're going to be able to see at Double or Nothing, which is going to be great. And then Claudio versus Brody King. which should be nice and meaty. So, James, what stands out to you the most here?
So there's a lot of potential on both sides. Will Ospreay versus Samoa Joe. One, I'm excited to be there for it. And two, I think it's going to continue this Ospreay storyline that we saw really take another step tonight. So I'm excited for that match. Davis versus Jungle Jack Perry. Not crazy that it's happening here because it just feels like it's serving their storyline and it's not serving the storyline of the Owen.
Yeah.
But I'm not super opposed to it. Both guys, they're going to put on another banger. They've been putting on great matches. So I'm sure this will be great as well. Swerve and Bandito is where I'm most intrigued. Well, that whole side of the bracket is where I'm most intrigued. Because
that's like fun.
Swerve versus Claudio is a very exciting prospect. It absolutely is. But is it more exciting than Bandito versus Brody?
Ooh.
A Brodito match could be Teddy bonkers.
Yeah.
Now, I don't...
You also have you have the rematch opportunity between Swerve and Brody as well.
Exactly. Now, I don't think we're going to see the Brodito match because I think ultimately it's going to come down to Ospreay versus Swerve and will finally beat Swerve. I think that's pretty much what this is destined to be. This bracket, this men's bracket, is a little more predictable to me than the women's. I have no concept for the women.
Yeah, that one's going to be
bananas. But I'm excited for it. These are going to be, at minimum, we're going to get some really, really exciting matches. But if I had to predict it right now, Ospreay, Jack, Swerve.
That last one's hard to call, right?
Say Claudio because then you get Swerve versus Claudio, which fits in with the Will Ospreay story with the Death Riders.
Yeah.
And then we get Will over Davis, where Will gets revenge on Davis for Davis pile driving him the way he did.
Yep.
Will beats Davis, and then Will beats Swerve. That's my prediction. Lock it down. Mark it down.
I can't really disagree. And also, too, that allows Swerve to get a win over the Ring of Honor World Champion, which could give you that opportunity as well.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the big meaty men slap and meat match that is Claudio versus Brody.
It's such different meat, too. That's what makes it so exciting. One is the leaner meat.
Yeah, they're different cuts, but yeah. One's a filet mignon and one's a nice fatty ribeye, but they're both delicious.
Yummy.
That came up on my my YouTube recommended the other day, the Big E thing, and I watched it twice.
I mean, hey, this is an AEW podcast. Why would you be talking about anybody from the New Day?
I don't know. The Young Bucks seem to be. Let's see. Maria called the brackets excellent, and Tyler saying the bracket is better than WWE. I don't know if he means that on a whole or what, but
these 8 men better than WWE. I love that.
I mean, a couple of these 8 men were in WWE, and you can see how much better they're doing over here. But that is neither here nor there.
Yep.
All right. So following that, we went to a backstage promo from Jungle Jack Perry, where he addresses Mark Davis, saying he imagines Davis thinks some congratulations are in order following his championship win, but Jack doesn't see him as a champion. He's built like a Australian grizzly bear, but he still needed somebody to hit Jack in the back with a golf club to beat him. So it's Stadium Stampede. Jack says Davis can bring his friends, bring whatever weapon Davis wants, because Perry will crack Davis in the skull with it because anything goes. And then after that, it's back to grassroots and the AEW World Championship as they face off in the Owen to get a shot at the title and All In. And Jack will prove without a shadow of a doubt that he is not only a better wrestler, but a future world champion. And if you don't like that, then fuck you. That's Jack saying that.
I promise you guys, Rev would never say it to you.
Maybe. Brando saying when I was a kid, slapping meat meant something else. It still does. That's why it's funny.
I don't understand. I know what I'm saying. I know I know what type of man I am.
All right. Following that, we had a banger watch match. Will Ospreay versus Ace Austin. Go ahead, James. Get your glasses. So James was very excited about this match.
I was terrified for this match.
Yes. He literally texted me, oh my God, he's going to kill Austin after the whole Ospreay Death Riders segment.
I was just like, oh my God, he's prepping him too much. He's giving him too much of a pep talk. He's going to be violent and it's going to be painful and my heart is going to hurt.
And I go, don't worry, keep the faith. Ace is on the Brody King path. He'll be getting dubbed soon. And James goes, yes, if he survives the murder in all. But Ace Austin more than held his own in this. He obviously worked over Ospreay's neck a lot, but Ospreay early in the match actually singled out Austin's left arm and continually attacked that. And then at the end of the match, after Austin missed a finisher attempt, Ospreay hit him with a very short-armed hidden blade, and it knocked Austin straight to the mat. And then Ospreay went to the corner to line up for another hidden blade, but Austin collapsed right before Ospreay could make the attempt. So instead, Ospreay decides to audible and hits a punch kick to Austin's left arm as he tries to push himself up. And then Ospreay quickly jumps on him and takes him down with a flying armbar and immediately forces Ace Austin to tap out. So we'll go into the extracurriculars in a sec, James. But this was good. It was different than what I was expecting, but I think that's something we're going to have to get used to here with Will Ospreay as he adjusts his style.
Yep.
But at the same time, I think Ace had a really good showing here, which is great for him. And I think also tells the story of Ospreay is also going to have to adjust to this new style.
Yeah. So this match went way longer than I expected it to.
Yeah,
and that's not a complaint. I love this match. Possibly, and I know I'm biased, this possibly might be my match of the night. I put it above Cage and Knight, and that was a fun match. I'd say the only thing that probably beats it would be Darby and Takeshita, but I loved both of these matches. I'm
on the same boat.
We've been hearing reports for a while now that Ospreay was looking to change his style up a bit because obviously with his health issues, his neck issues, he wants to maintain some sort of longevity to his career. I respect that. He recently just said we're never going to see him hit another shooting star press again because he can't tuck his neck the way he's supposed to for it anymore. So I know that sounds like such a minute thing, but that's a big thing for a guy who's so used to his athleticism. Yeah. Now, I told you guys I recently got to meet or see Will in person at WrestleCon when I was in Vegas for WrestleMania weekend. And it's not the first time I met Will. I met Will years ago when he was first really making a name for himself here in the United States in Ring of Honor. And I remember that kid then to who he is now. And they're two different wrestlers. They're absolutely two different stars. And Moxley spoke about it in his conversation with Will that I remember back in the day. There were veterans telling Will, you need to change your style. Otherwise, you're not going to last. Your body will not take it. And we saw gradually over the years Will's style change, him becoming a bigger wrestler. He bulked up quite a bit. He added moves to his repertoire to not just be the flippy, divey guy that we saw in that infamous video of him and Ricochet. We saw that evolution, and now we're seeing another evolution. AEW, the commentator said it, at the very least, maybe not all time, but certainly the first time in AEW, this is Will's first submission win in AEW. That's big. It's big to see wrestlers change up in that way. So it's something fun to watch. We know he's still going to do some dangerous, stupid shit from time to time. But we now know that's not all he is. And that was what Moxley was trying to convey to him. You're a bird. You can still fly. But you're way more dangerous now. You could do so much more than just that. And I think this match was excellent for the story it told. I think this match was excellent for the action we got. Like I said, Ace held on for much longer than I thought he was going to, and I love that. I don't want to say this was a purely back and forth match. It wasn't. I'd say it was like 70% Ospreay, 30% Ace. Or maybe like 65-35.
I don't know. He's got a lot of offense in, man. He was doing a lot. He did a lot to counter Ospreay. Ospreay has a lot of trouble with the, unorthodox angles. I believe Shivani said that that Ace is able to attack you from. And I think you're kind of actually shorting your boy here a bit. I thought Austin got a lot more offense in than you thought.
I think it's just because I was so nervous for him the entire match. But we've talked about this too. We joked about it. You said it perfectly when we were texting before we got on, that he's going the Brody King route. Right? That was what you said.
Yeah. And which is currently the Mark Davis. Yeah.
Yes. Tony has shown us that he has a style of booking with guys that he kind of wants to put them through the ringer, that they're going to have banger after banger after banger, and they're going to lose and lose and lose. And then he's going to flip it. And now you have Mark Davis as national champion. You have Brody King, who is perennially in the main event. I'm excited for what this means for Ace Austin. I'm very excited for him.
And Ace is young too, so like he's he's doing this while he's still young. So Tony, I would imagine, is really trying to build him up, not just for now, but for the future as well. I'm pretty sure Swerve went through this, so it's not just these guys.
Yeah. Well, Swerve was a little bit different because he had the tag team title run for a while, but not even just the title, but he definitely had his own journey, very similar for sure.
Yeah, and Tony has been doing this. I think a lot of people have speculated lately, because he's got to figure out which of these new guys he can trust as he signs them, considering past signees and their reported unwillingness to cooperate. So he's, testing. I think some of it's him testing these guys. Like, are you willing to do jobs and, earn your place here, and then I will put you in a position to succeed.
And I think even beyond that, I think absolutely you nailed it. I think that's very true. I think it's also a matter of, okay, wow, this guy's been impressing me week after week after week. I want to see him win.
Yeah.
And then when he does, it's like, oh my God, he won. I'm so excited. They did that with Brody. They did that with Davis. They've done it with a few people. They've done it on the women's side for sure. So Willow, I think, was the biggest example for the women. Stat to an extent, but I'm loving this. I'm very happy. I was very, very happy with this matchup. Ace using his speed, again, his angles, as I think it was Shivani said. I love that bit on the outside. It's one of Ace's signature spots where he does the handstand on the ring apron.
Yep, the one-handed handstand.
Yeah, the one-handed handstand. I thought that was great. And I think it's a matter of when, not a matter of if, before we see him get a big, big win soon. So one of the interesting things, though, from a story point of this match, it's very easy to see what Ospreay was doing and almost be like, wow, he's vicious. He was vicious, and like he was targeting that arm from the get-go. But that's not vicious. It's just smart.
Yeah, it was just a game plan. It wasn't like he was going out there to injure Ace. He was just going out there to win. And if winning was, I have the arm, then he would take that opportunity.
Exactly. And I love the handshake at the end.
Yep.
It shows this isn't Ospreay trying to be hard or rough or whatever.
Or a Death Rider.
Or a Death Rider. This is him this is something new about him. And it also elevates Ace. Like, look, this kid kept up with me.
Yeah.
I'm going to show him the respect that he deserves from this. So, all in all, great matchup. Fun time for me.
Just before I get into the post-match stuff, Fernando and Maria loving this. Fernando calling it fire. Maria saying it was match of the night.
I'm there with you.
Yeah, Maria also bringing up a good point here, saying HBK had to change his style in the ring when he came out of retirement, and maybe he had a better career than when he won the Iron Man match versus Brett at WrestleMania.
I'm gonna let you know one of those things that a lot of us, pretty much everyone who loves wrestling, will agree on, but nobody says out loud because it's sacrilege. The Iron Man match between Shawn and Brett was not that good.
Yeah, I've heard that.
The last 5 minutes are good. And overtime is very good. There is a lot of chin locks. There's a lot of rest holds in that hour.
It shouldn't have been an hour. That's what everyone always says. Every time I read about it, everyone goes, it should not have been an hour. This was Vince just being a stubborn asshole. If it was 30, it probably would have been one of the best ever. But
yeah,
an hour on a WrestleMania is way too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Following the match, as you mentioned, James Ospreay. Nope.
I'm just saying it's I'm not the only, I'm just the one saying it out loud. Most people will agree.
That's what I've read. James out here starting shit. Anyway, as he mentioned, Ospreay shook Austin's hand and gave credit to him, and then the Samoa Joe's music hit, and he and the Ops came out to the stage. Joe calls out Ospreay's name a couple of times, saying he was just hoping that Ospreay was listening, since it seems like he hasn't been for the last few weeks. But fate has now put them on a collision course, despite Will trying to avoid it, obviously alluding to their matchup in the Owen.
They're wrestling at the pay-per-view. They're not wrestling on Collision.
So Joe says that he is here to talk about choices, because it's Will's choices that have prevented him from getting a bye in the Owen, because that's what Joe does for his friends. But Will chose differently. He could have made a choice to join a team that would support and enhance him, but instead he chose to become a lapdog for Jon Moxley and the Death Riders. And now, at Double or Nothing, Joe will make Ospreay suffer the consequences. However, Joe says he will leave Ospreay in peace tonight, but his friends are still feeling a little slighted, and he doesn't keep leashes on his friends. So Anthony Bowens and Kazuchika Shibata then make their way to the ring, but they stop when the music of the Death Riders hits, and they come down, all of them in force, getting up on the apron and surrounding the ring. Joe briefly thinks about it, but then decides against it because they're greatly outnumbered, and they retreat. So, obviously, good promo from Joe because it's Joe, but very intriguing that the Death Riders are now defending Ospreay as if he is one of their own.
At the very least, there's very clearly a respect between them. You know, he's doing their stuff. Like that neck bridge, he held on to that for a while as they were training.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to learn that, man. I might have to get in with the Death Riders. My neck's been killing me because I'm always punching over my phone or my laptop, or whatever it is. I'm in a bad way. I need Marina to give me a. With all due respect, Roddy.
All due respect, Marina. I'd be more afraid of her.
Yeah, fair play.
Apparently his neck has never felt better. That's what he said.
Yep.
I enjoyed it. I'm enjoying all of this. And again, I'm going to side with Maria a little bit. I was not crazy about the concept of this. I was like, this feels convoluted. This doesn't feel necessary. But I opened up to what it could be, and I'm enjoying what I'm getting. Even if I don't think we needed to go this route, I think it's still being well done.
I agree. I finally got your video here of the botch from the speedball match.
Oh boy!
So I'm trying to keep a look at it. Let's see. He does the flip, goes through more flips, miss. All right, where is he? Goes into the corner. Oh, yep, and then yeah.
I had to leave.
Yeah. Speedball just throws him a shrug.
I had to walk away.
I think I get what he was going for, but yeah, that was not great, Bob. In walking away, did you just end up missing the rest of the match?
No, I came back. I literally just walked away and walked right back in. Yeah. But I needed to do a lap. I needed to breathe.
Fair. What is that called? It's not Schadenfreude. There's something where it's like secondhand embarrassment, but there's some German word for it. I think Schadenfreude is enjoying people.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, the Germans have a word for everything.
Yes, they do. They're very good at that, despite the fact that it's a harsh language. All right, let's move along here. We went backstage for an interview with Konosuke Takeshita and that carny piece of shit, Don Callis.
We commit to a bit. I love it, man.
He's a carny piece of shit. I'm calling him that forever on this show. So Renee tries to ask about the possibility of Takeshita winning tonight, which would mean he could be walking into Double or Nothing as the AEW World Champion. But then Don cuts her off and says, would, not would, no, excuse me, could, not could, would be walking in as the champion. But then MJF comes over and he interrupts, saying it's been a minute since he and Takeshita have talked. 3 years, in fact, since he beat Takeshita. But MJF since then has watched him and believes he is one of the best wrestlers in the world. He thinks that Takeshita is going to win the world title tonight and then go on to beat Okada. And then maybe they could have Takeshita MJF 2 for the world championship. And MJF sticks out his hand and Takeshita shakes it and says something in Japanese. I don't have the translation for that, although I have a feeling it was fuck off before walking away. And Don goes to Max. He's like, that was a very nice pep talk. And MJF goes, well, it was well worth it because I'm having a full-blown panic attack. So the kid needs to win.
I love his honesty about
it. He's like, I can't turn into some disgusting bald freak. No offense, Don. You look great.
Oh my God.
But he thinks that there's only one foolproof situation where he's not going to have to put his hair on the line. So if things get hairy, I guess no pun intended, Max would like Don to utilize this, and he hands Don one of the Dynamite Diamond rings. Andrade El Idolo then walks in, and he takes his hat off and shakes out his luscious locks, and then MJF just looks at him and just walks away in frustration. And then Don tells Renee the deal. Takeshita will bring home the world title back to the Don Callis family tonight, and Andrade hits Don with another, okay, how'd you know? And Don responds in some busted-ass Spanish. So Andrade tells Don directly, next time, it has to be him, and walks away. Okay, so then after that, we came back from commercial for the reveal of the women's Owen Hart bracket. So give me a second here to pull that up for all of you. Okay, and here we go. So we'll start here in the top left. We have Persephone against... I'm going to take a shot at this one, unless you know it, James.
Hazuki?
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that. Hazuki, Persephone from CMLL, and I believe Hazuki is from Stardom. Obviously, we then have TBS champion Willow Nightingale facing off against Alex Windsor at Double or Nothing. That should be a very fun match. $5 is on the pre-show. We also, on the other side of the bracket, have Mina Shirakawa against Ring of Honor Forever Women's World Champion Athena, and then Sky Blue versus Saray. I cannot believe they got Saray. Holy fucking shit.
First of all, I had just read a report, I think yesterday, 2 days ago, that was like, yeah, we're going to see Saray sort of take a step back from active competition. She's looking to just, settle down a little bit, and we'll maybe see her in Japan at some point. And then, she's just in the Owen. I thought that was hilarious.
My quick hot take, I think she has a shot to make the finals.
Very possibly.
I think she beats Sky Blue here. I kind of think that's a given, considering her pedigree and who she is. At least from what I read online, I don't watch a lot of Stardom, but from what I understand, she is the man over there.
Yeah, she's a very hot talent. She's a very sought after talent and well earned reputation.
Yeah, and then either she gets Mina, who can win that match. Or who can lose that match, excuse me. Or she gets Athena, which means we have that absolute banger on deck. And I think Saray could beat Athena. I think Athena would have no problem doing that job.
I mean, she's done it enough on AEW television.
Yeah.
I think that
maybe she wins. I don't know. I don't know who wins this. This is a tough one.
I don't think so, simply because the winner goes on to All In. And nothing against I don't think she's a well-known enough talent to AEW audiences. That's not to say she can't be. There's plenty of time between now and All In, but I would be surprised. I'm not rooting against it by any stretch, but I would be surprised. I like when you have your own talent that you, unless she is signed, which I don't know. I don't know. Truly, I have no concept of who can win this tournament. You have the CMLL Women's Champion, Persephone. You have the TBS Champion, Willow Nightingale. You have the Ring of Honor Forever Women's Champion, Athena. And I know having any of those titles doesn't mean anything because this is going to go towards a larger title. But first of all, no Mercedes.
Yeah, big upset there.
Shocked She's going to have to hand over another belt to Willow Nightingale.
Or somebody gets taken out.
Or somebody does get taken out. I truly don't know. I'm going to say Persephone, Willow, Athena?
I got Athena. I think the match for Saray is just a banger waiting to happen.
Yeah. I think you could do Saray versus Mina at any point. I think Athena versus Saray is a bigger tournament match.
Yeah. The American Joshi, Athena, because you get to play into that as well.
Yeah. And then after that, no concept.
Yeah,
no concept.
The left side of the bracket's really throwing me off, man.
Yeah.
Like, I do not know who comes out of that. I think probably the winner of Willow versus Windsor probably ends up winning. I know Persephone has a chance because she is dual contract, but I don't know if they want to do that. Her split in time. I do on the right side of the right side of the bracket. I do have Saray, especially because I'm looking at it. The finals are at Forbidden Door, so throwing Stardom that match is a good idea.
Yeah, I've heard that they're really trying to push for a bigger presence for Stardom at Forbidden Door too. So maybe. Let's see. Either way. While I'm very excited for the men's bracket because of the story that's being told, I did say it does feel rather predictable. I think every winner I called is exactly how it's going to go.
Yeah.
I could be wrong out the gate on this one. So it's very intriguing. And I love that. I don't love predictable tournaments. I know sometimes they serve a purpose because you're telling a story. And I do think that's the case for the men. But I would much rather a tournament that you could have at least two people that are like, either one of these guys can win.
Yeah. And like you said, I think there are multiple women who can win this. You know, it'd be pretty crazy. Athena could win it. Maybe. Like, there's nothing that says she can't.
Yeah.
Willow could win it. Windsor could win it. Persephone could win it.
I think ultimately the big thing is I have to assume Thekla is holding it until All In. I'd be shocked. She has done so much for the women's division for her to not win it.
Yeah.
To not win it, but to not go to All In with it.
Yeah, to not hold it. Yeah.
And then who's the best opponent for her? That's really what it comes down to.
Willow or Windsor.
Yeah. And either that, like, I love Windsor. I don't think so.
Yeah, the only reason I think maybe Windsor is just because it's Wembley. But
maybe, but I think the Brawling Birds are absolutely going for the tag titles at Wembley.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. You probably have that coming up. So yeah, it's probably Willow, but this is really wide open. But and the reason for that is, you know, Maria, I know you're kind of joking as you call it a joke here, but you're right. Yeah, the big person missing is Mercedes Moné. Where is she? And we all thought, we've been talking about this for a while, James. We thought that this was going to be the place where Mercedes would make her return and kind of build herself back up. And she is MIA.
Yeah.
Very strange. Our man Chris Leclerc, though, still got sky blue.
What up, Chris?
He's excited for his girl. And you know what? Going against Saray, I think, is a big deal for her, win or lose. It's a big spot for her to be in. And
a lot of trust.
Yeah. Probably put on a banger match. So, win or lose, I'm excited for that. And I'm excited to see Saray in an AEW ring. I've heard so much about her. I really want to. I could go watch Stardom, but I just don't. As I say, you can only watch so much wrestling in a week. But so finally getting to see her in full and not just in clips is going to be great. Chris Collin, he's got Skye or Athena winning. Cool. We'll mark it down for that.
Okay.
No pun intended. Or maybe actually, yeah.
Slightly intended.
Okay, so that led to a backstage interview with the conglomeration. So you got Kyle O'Reilly, you got Roderick Strong, you got Orange Cassidy, you got Willow Nightingale, who also now has her own backpack for her title.
Yeah.
Love the backpacks. So anyway, they do the reveal, and then Renee asks the conglomeration about some business they have to attend to following Orange's win earlier in the night. And Orange is like, yeah, we still have that tag title shop floating around. And they don't know when it's going to be yet, but they still have to decide who it's going to be. And Kyle says that it should be Orange and Roddy. And then Roddy goes, Kyle! Thanks, I appreciate it. And then Kyle says he has some gold of his own to chase. And he calls out John Moxley, asking him when they're doing this, since he is the man who put Kyle on the shelf. And Kyle's the man who made Moxley tap twice.
I'm so bummed, dude. I'm so bummed. Like, I absolutely wanted him to take the title off of Mox once upon a time. But I feel like so much steam has been lost. Like, now it just feels like they're going to have the match to have the match. I don't think they're, like...
Yeah.
Once upon a time, Kyle deserved to have won the title off of him. I don't think we're there now.
I'm also a little bummed because I wanted to see Roddy and Kyle go against FTR again. Well, that's assuming FTR still has the titles. They might not following Double or Nothing, so we'll see. Because as we said, we don't know when this match is going to happen.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of gold, Willow jumps in to remind us that she is the TBS champion, and she pulls the title out of her backpack, and that she's in the Owen, a tournament that she's won before and will do it again. And then this way she can have all the gold at All In. And then Renee's like, all right, it seems like you guys got all your business in order. And then they're all kind of like, well, something's missing. Like, what is it? And then Arn's like, well, we haven't done a word of the day in a while. And although I'm not really sure why. So then Roddy just hits a Mark. And then motherfucking Mark Briscoe comes sprinting in as only Mark Briscoe can.
Perfect way to bring him back.
Yeah, making his return from his injury. And he says that the word of the day is reunification, because he is back with his boys and the girls in the conglomeration. And he immediately calls out Tommaso Ciampa for next week on Dynamite, since I believe it was Ciampa that hurt him. Yeah. And then he kind of just screams something about Collision being in his hometown this weekend, and that the conglomeration will have a match. We didn't really get any details about it. He just kind of, Mark Briscoe yelled about it, and then...
As he does.
Yes, and then he kept babbling as he left in his typical fashion, followed by a hyped up Kyle and Willow, and then Roddy left, and then Arn stayed behind with Renee to be like, I'm tired again. There was so much yelling. There was a lot of yelling.
Yeah.
So we're back, and I'm happy. All right, let's see. Maria's saying that she agrees with you about Kyle.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Bummer. It really sucks that the injury kind of took all the steam out of that. And I appreciate the fact that they're still trying to give it to us, but it is what it is. She's also happy to see Mark Briscoe.
Yes, you and me both.
As am I. There was something missing from those conglomerating's.
Oh, yeah.
Although she is getting sick of his yelling. That's the thing.
I do think sometimes, like anything, he can get overplayed. But I think when he uses it right, it's hilarious. Like bringing back Mark with it was great.
Yeah. Actually, no, yeah, she said I'm getting sick of his yelling. I'm assuming she means Mark and not Roddy.
Oh, I thought it was Roddy she was talking about.
No, but either way, I'm not sick of either of them. Okay, let's see. Last match we got to talk about here is Hikaru Shida and the Brawling Birds against the Triangle of Madness. I'm not going to lie, I missed a decent chunk of this by accident because I tried to skip to a commercial and it skipped me almost to the end.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I did catch the end. So after sandwiching Skye Blue with the double clothesline, the Birds set up for the 2 birds, 1 stone. Hayter went to hit the ropes, but as she came back, Thekla came into the ring with her championship and absolutely brained Jamie with it. And then that caused a disqualification. And then Thekla and Skye immediately went after the Birds. I think they put them both in submissions. And Julia ended up standing guard. And she even missed it a referee as the referee corps came down to try to get them off. Shida, kendo stick in hand, decided that she ain't want none of that shit. Yep. And she headed up the ramp. And as she was going up there, she got passed by Willow Nightingale, Thunder Rosa, and Mina Shirakawa, who ran down to the ring to make the save and drive off the Triangle of Madness. So, James, like I said, I accidentally missed the chunk of this. I'll probably go back and watch it because I wanted – but big question going into this was the interaction between Shida and the Birds, considering Shida's disposition lately. So I have to imagine some of that came into play. But from what I saw, I mean, there was some damn good wrestling between these women because they're damn good wrestlers.
There were moments like they were going in for a tag and Shida really took a moment before putting her hand, she was standing on the stairs like this.
Yeah.
And then eventually goes in for the tag. So they definitely played into it. I am personally not really a fan of this slow burn that they're taking with her. Just commit to it. Just commit to it. When you've had somebody who was gone for as long as she was, just commit to it. I felt the same about the inverse with Seth Rollins. Do you remember when Seth was gone after his knee injury and then he came back and everyone was so excited and then they just keep him heel for a while?
He was still with Trips. I mean, I think it led to the Triple H match at WrestleMania, but
it did, but like they could have built to it.
It took all the steam out of it.
It did. So I'd say the same is here. Like by the time she actually officially turns heel, I'm gonna be like, yeah, about fucking time.
All right, LA Knight.
So the match itself was fun. I really do like the Triangle's chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
All three of them really do work well together. There was the good bit where you know me, I hate when wrestlers overly taunt in the match. It gets me so frustrated.
Which is insane because you're a huge Roman Reigns fan, but go ahead.
I mean, and I've seen this man, it cost him at multiple WrestleManias. Multiple WrestleManias. The only person who undeniably I'm fine with it is Kenny when he goes for the before a V trigger. It's the only time I'm willing to put up with it.
At least he does quick ones.
Yeah.
Like quick draw McGraw's and then hits the ropes.
But what was I saying? She did the spider walk to somebody who was laying down and they kind of got up into it. It was
Shida.
Yeah,
I saw a clip of it online.
Yeah. Like I thought that worked for me. The finish, it's fine. Like I'm usually not a big fan of these bullshit DQ finishes, but at the same time, it fits Thekla, who's like, why the fuck am I putting up with this?
Yep.
So it works for her. It works for her.
It also works. Sorry, we always talk about this. It works because they don't do these a lot in AEW. So when they do them, it's like, oh, all right, wow, that was a little different. And it works in character for Thekla because she cares about two things. She cares about holding on to the title and beating up all the dumb bitches in AEW. Yeah, and I'm quoting there, by the way. So I think it works for her. I think the only disappointment is from what I was seeing, it looks like that was really starting to ramp up a little bit. And if it got another 3 minutes, it probably could have hit a really good extra gear there. But instead, we get the DQ, and I don't mind that because we got the DQ. It makes me want more.
But we're getting more is the point. Like we're getting 3 of these women in a match on that next Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's kind of. I wanted more from this match, but I understand what you're saying. We're gonna get more from most of these women anyway. So it ends up working out here, and that's usually the case with AEW DQs. You end up getting more in the future, but So it's a bit of a mess. I know I'm kind of talking from a point of ignorance because I didn't see everything, but it still looked good. So
it worked.
Yeah, and hopefully they can figure out what they're doing with Shida. Last thing that we had was we just had a Roosh vignette. I only bring it up because they are really pushing him all over the place.
I'm cool with it. Fresh face in the main event scene.
Yeah, I was really convinced that he was going to be a Darby title match guy, but unless he has one on Collision Saturday, I think Speedball is his last guy.
He's someone I would have liked to see in the Owen. And I think I think if you had gotten rid of Davis and Jack Perry, you could have easily put Roosh in here and somebody else.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
I'm really interested to see where they go with him. I think it would be absolute insanity, but if Darby does win it Double or Nothing and he ends up getting a title shot, I wouldn't be shocked.
Oh, I would be. He's not ready. I as someone who likes Roosh, the heat up would be way too quick for them to put the title on him.
I concur, but I don't know. Just I wouldn't overly surprise me. I think it's a long shot, but it's like the oh, you know what? Let me throw $5 on the 50-1 here and see what happens.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Yeah. Last comment here from Maria saying the DQ protected all the participants
for
the Women's World Championship match next Sunday. So yeah, that's a very good point as well. So there's actually decent booking, from Tony, because when does he not? But anyway, that was Dynamite, kids. I loved it. As we always say, The second to last Dynamite before the pay-per-view is usually the best one before the pay-per-view.
It's got me worried for next week. It's got me really worried for next week.
It does, but this had two absolute banger matches and two really good title matches. I know one of those overlaps. Some very interesting stuff. Well, still with Ospreay and everything surrounding him, the Death Riders and the Ops, and just so many moving pieces that are interacting with each other. Just a whole lot of fun and a really fun opening match to start the show as well.
Yeah.
This is the part where you say how you like Dynamite.
I just got distracted. We had another comment. I'm sorry.
Oh.
No, it's just an old comment, I think.
Oh.
I really did enjoy this Dynamite. It's like I said, I am kind of half joking when I say it. I am a little worried about next week's Dynamite because I enjoyed this one so much. That's usually a sign that next week's going to be a downturn a little bit. But
Maine too.
Yeah. We got two good title matches. We got a lot of people on the show tonight between the trios women's match, the 10-man tag at the start of the show. I got everything. I got pretty much every itch scratched tonight. So well done. I personally think this Ospreay stuff is very captivating. So I'm excited to see what's next for him. And I'm left wondering about the women's bracket for the Owen. I'm really trying to put that together and I can't right now.
Yeah, that's something like we're honestly gonna have to study and really start to see where the dominoes fall there. And I guess maybe we'll see some of it next week, but I imagine we're not really gonna start to see what happens until Double or Nothing. But no, this was a fun ass show, and it's made me really excited to actually be going to Double or Nothing because I was kind of on the fence about it. I always knew it was gonna be good, but I was like, am I spending the money on this? This is making me glad I spent the money on it.
Good. I'm glad. We're going to have a good time.
Okay. I have a one-sentence answer for this comment from Fernando. What are your thoughts really quick on WWE going after streamers really hard? Money.
Fucking bring it, bro. Bring it.
Well, they're not going to come after us because we're just talking about
it.
It's the people who are like watching and while live streaming. Keep your shit on mute, everybody, I guess, and don't put any clips on your streams. But yeah, it's just them going after the dollar instead of trying to build up their community and their fan base and have any goodwill towards them. And nothing is stronger than the almighty dollar to TKO. They continue to show that, and they're going to continue to show that until they bleed that sucker dry.
These are things we knew were going to happen when when Endeavor bought WWE and formed TKO with UFC. They've done all of this to UFC. It's what they're known for doing.
Yeah.
And it's a rare instance where I can't fully blame WWE, although I'm sure Nick Khan does not have any problem with any of this. But yeah, it's a bummer. There are so many people in this sphere. There are so many people in this world that that I like to watch, like I know you guys know it. We're the only wrestling YouTube show. There's no other ones, but there are other people that I do love to watch and get their reactions. And I know that that's how they made the majority of, their name, their money off of doing it. So to see WWE doing this, to see TKO doing this, it's sad. It's sad, but we don't do it. We're safe. Come on over here. And we'll have fun talking about wrestling with you guys.
Yeah, I've met some friends through some people, other streamers, and we've talked about like, oh, how do you do it? And they're like, oh yeah, we do it that way. And I was like, oh, they're like, do you ever get, hit with
Copyright?
the things? And they're like, yeah, copyright. And they're like, no, not really. Unfortunately, now they are. And I'm like, oh man, I hope they don't get taken down because that would really suck. And yeah, I saw Endeavor strip UFC down to what it is now, and it's not nearly the product it was, to the point where I'm a big MMA guy. I haven't watched UFC fight in a while.
I can't remember the last time I sat down for a UFC
fight. Like there was a big one last weekend, and I didn't even know it was on until somebody told me about the upset dub. So in the main event, so it's like if that's what's going to happen with WWE, and they're going to continue to make the product worse for their consumer, so they can make more money, then guess where they're going to end up.
Yep.
All right. And on that note, I'd like to thank everyone so much for watching us here at the Market Down Podcast. We appreciate it if you like to subscribe. If you like the video, let us know that you like what we're doing here on the pod, and we continue to do it. And if you subscribe, you can get all the great stuff here on the channel. Got the Gym Pack Zone tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Are you covering Ring of Honor, Supercard of
I
Honor?
would like to. Let's see how it goes. That's the plan.
Okay, I might as well. I will let you know. I don't know what my plans are. I don't know if I'm staying in. I will try.
Okay,
but you got to remind me it's on.
Yes.
We will obviously be back here next Wednesday for all 3 hours of Dynamite and Collision, and we occasionally do some Monday Night Raw when big things happen, along with covering as many big pay-per-views as possible.
Yeah.
Obviously, as we mentioned, we are going to Double or Nothing, so we won't be able to cover it that night. Maybe we'll try to do something the day after, but we unfortunately won't be able to cover it that Sunday.
Yeah.
To wit, you should check us out on all our social media platforms: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Blue Sky.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's all of them. And if you follow us along on there, then you can see some of our updates from the show. Hopefully, we actually remember to do some and don't get too engrossed by the wrestling, but don't blame us if we get a little distracted. But yeah, be sure to check us out in those places so we can hang out in places outside of here. And, you can follow us along next Sunday, like I mentioned. If you are watching over on Facebook and you want to follow us in some other places and you can't get the links down below, Twitter is at marketdown_pod, Instagram is at marketdownpod, youtube.com/marketdown3665 or /@marketdownpod. We are trying to get to be able to stream on Twitter again. We're just having some problems with that, but hopefully we'll be able to line that back up soon.
Yes.
James, anything else before we get out of here?
I'm at 3% battery. I love you guys. I will see you tomorrow for Gym Pact, and I will do my best to see you guys Friday for Ring of Honor.
Yeah, that's why I'm rushing through. I apologize. But for James Asante, my name is Nick Cummings. Again, thank you so much for watching us here at the Market Down Podcast. Have a good one, everyone.